abandon this perfection of wisdom. And this is my admonition to you. Those sons or daughters of good family who will learn this deep perfection of wisdom. Bear it in mind. Preach and study it. Place their trust in it. Wisely attend to it. And who will declare it also to others by various methods and in detail. Will demonstrate it. Make it known, set them going in it, explain it, analyze it, enlarge on it, and reveal it, they shall quite soon know full enlightenment, they are quite near to the knowledge of all modes. And why? Because from this perfection of wisdom has issued the supreme enlightenment of the Buddhas and Lords. The entrusting in connection with the Bodhisattva. Whether they were Tathagatas in the past, or will be Tathagatas in a future period, or are Tathagatas who just now reside in world systems in all the directions and demonstrate Dharma. Therefore, then, Ananda, a bodhisattva who wants to know full enlightenment should course in these 6 perfections. And why? Because this perfection of wisdom, Ananda, is the gene-trix of the bodhisattvas, the great beings. All those bodhisattvas, great beings who train in the 6 perfections, shall go forth to full enlightenment. Therefore, then, Ananda, these 6 perfections I again and again entrust to you. And why? For this storehouse of the 6 perfections is the Tathagata's inexhaustible storehouse of Dharma. And those Tathagatas who just now reside in world systems in all the directions and demonstrate Dharma, they derive their demonstration from this storehouse of the 6 perfections. And those who in a past period were Tathagatas, they have, after they had trained in just these 6 perfections, known full enlightenment and demonstrated Dharma. And that holds good also of the Tathagatas of the future. And also all the disciples of the past, future and present Buddhas and Lords will win nirvana after they have trained in just this perfection of wisdom. The mark of the abundance of merit caused by the uninterrupted attainment of the great enlightenment. If, Ananda, you should demonstrate Dharma on the level of the disciples to persons belonging to the vehicle of the disciples. And if, as a result of your demonstration of Dharma, all the beings in the great Trichiliocosm would realize arhatship, nevertheless you would thereby not yet have done your duty as my disciple. But if you, Ananda, would demonstrate and reveal to a bodhisattva, a great being, even one single verse connected with the perfection of wisdom, then I would be pleased with you as my disciple, and you would have done your duty as my disciple. And if by your former demonstration of Dharma the beings in the great Trichiliocosm would all realize sooner or later arhatship, would then the foundation of their meritorious work, consisting in giving, morality and development, be a great one? Ananda. It would be, O Lord. The Lord. A merit greater than that. Ananda. Would a person belonging to the disciple vehicle beget who would demonstrate to a bodhisattva, a great being, the Dharma associated with the perfection of wisdom? For one single day even, or just for half a day, or for one forenoon, for half an hour, for the time of a finger snap, or just only for a moment, an inkling, a mere second. He begets the greater merit and surpasses the wholesome roots of all sons and daughters of good family who belong to the disciple vehicle or the Pratyekabuddha-vehicle. And so does a bodhisattva, a great being, who demonstrates to persons belonging to the bodhisattva-vehicle the Dharma associated with the perfection of wisdom, for even one single day, or half a day, or a forenoon, or half an hour, or a moment, or an inkling, or a mere second. And why? Because he himself wants to know full enlightenment, and others also he encourages to full enlightenment, incites them, instigates them, settles, and establishes them. It is thus impossible, Ananda, that the bodhisattva, the great being, coursing in the 4 applications of mindfulness, to the knowledge of the modes of the path, growing in wholesome roots, could fail to win full enlightenment. That cannot possibly be. When this perfection of wisdom was being taught, the Lord in front of the 4 assemblies, and of the gods, men, yakshas, gandharvas, asuras, garudas, kinnaras, and mahoragas who had gathered around him, exerted his psychic power in such a way that they all saw Akshobhya, The Tathagata, surrounded and revered by his congregation of monks, demonstrating dharma to an assembly vast like the ocean and imperturbable, all of them arhats, with their outflows dried up, undefiled, fully controlled, quite freed in their hearts, well freed and wise, thoroughbreds, great serpents, their work done, their task accomplished, their burden laid down, their own will accomplished, with the fetters that bound them to becoming extinguished, their hearts well freed by right understanding, in perfect control of their whole minds, and also to the bodhisattvas, the great beings who had an intelligence vast like the ocean. Thereupon the Lord again withdrew that psychic power. And in consequence the four assemblies no longer saw the Tathagata-akshobhya, or the persons belonging to the disciple-vehicle or the bodhisattva-vehicle, nor that Buddha field of the Tathagata-akshobhya. That congregation of monks headed by the Buddha no longer came within the range of their vision. And why? Because the Lord, the Tathagata, had withdrawn that exercise of psychic power. That is why they could no longer see it. The Lord. Ananda, do you see that Buddha field of the Tathagata-akshobhya, and that congregation of monks and bodhisattvas? Ananda. That Buddha field, O Lord, does not come within the range of the eye, nor that Tathagata, nor that congregation of monks, nor that congregation of bodhisattvas. The Lord. Just so, Ananda, all dharmas come not within the range of the eye. No dharma comes within the range of a dharma, no dharma sees a dharma, no dharma cognizes a dharma. Just as this Tathagata-akshobhya, these disciples, those person belonging to the bodhisattva-vehicle, and that Buddha field, do not come within the range of the eye, just so, Ananda, all dharmas. A dharma does not come within the range of the adharma, does not see a dharma, does not cognize a dharma. For all dharmas are unknowable, unseeable, incapable of doing anything. And why? All dharmas are unoccupied, unseizable, on account of the fact that they are unoccupied, like space. All dharmas are unthinkable like an illusory man. All dharmas cannot be known, because they elude all thought, have the mark of being set up as mere fabrications, and on account of their insubstantiality. When he courses thus, the bodhisattva, the great being, courses in the perfection of wisdom, but settle down in no dharma whatever. When he trains thus he courses in the perfections of wisdom. A bodhisattva, a great being, who wants to fulfill all the perfections, should train in the perfection of wisdom. For this training has been declared to be the highest, the best, the principal, the choicest, the most excellent, the sublime, the foremost, the utmost, the unsurpassed. Bent on the benefit and happiness of the entire world, a protector of the unprotected, ordained and extolled by the Buddhas. Having stood in it, the Tathagatas could lift up this great trichiliocosm with their right hands and then just drop it again. And yet it would not occur to these beings that this great trichiliocosm has been lifted up or dropped down. And why? As a result of training in this perfection of wisdom there has arisen in the Buddhas and Lords an unattached vision and cognition of past, future, and present dharmas. Of all trainings that there are, this training in perfect wisdom has been declared to be the highest, too. The unsurpassed. To think of seizing the measure or boundary the perfection of wisdom would be like thinking of seizing the measure or boundary of space. And why? Because without measure is the perfection of wisdom, and I have set no measure to it. The body of names, the body of words, the body of letters are bound by measure, but the perfection of wisdom is not. The Great Enlightenment. The Great Enlightenment consisting in the cognition of extinction and of non-production. Ananda. For what reason, O Lord, is the perfection of wisdom not bound by measure? The Lord. Because of non-extinction, because of isolatedness. Those Buddhas and Lords who in a past period have been Tathagatas, they have come forth from just this perfection of wisdom, and yet the perfection of wisdom has not got extinguished. Those Buddhas and Lords who in a future period will be Tathagatas, they also will come forth from just his perfection of wisdom, and yet this perfection of wisdom will not get extinguished. Those Tathagatas who just now reside in the world in the 10 directions and demonstrate Dharma. They also come forth from just this perfection of wisdom, and yet the perfection of wisdom does not get extinguished. And why? One would think, ananda, of extinguishing space if one were to think of extinguishing the perfection of wisdom. But the perfection of wisdom has not got extinguished, does not get extinguished, will not get extinguished. And the same holds good of the other 5 perfections. For of these dharmas there is not production. That of which there is no production, how can of that the extinction be conceived? The reason for being confirmed in the conviction of the great enlightenment. Thereupon the Lord stretched out his tongue, covered his whole face with it, and said to the Ven, Ananda. What do you think, Ananda, could such a tongue speak what is false, what is otherwise? Ananda. No, O Lord, no, O Shugata. The Lord. Therefore, then, Ananda, do reveal this perfection of wisdom to the 4 assemblies, explain it, encourage it, analyze it, explain it, enlarge on it, and reveal it in detail. For in this deep perfection of wisdom have all dharmas been pointed out in detail, wherein the persons belonging to the disciple-vehicle, the Pratyekabuddha-vehicle, the bodhisattva-vehicle should be trained. When trained therein, as instructed, they will each stand on their own level. And this deep perfection of wisdom is the entrance to all the syllables and the door to the dharanis in which the bodhisattva, the great being, should be trained. The bodhisattvas, the great beings, who bear in mind these dharanis will come face to face with all the flashes of insight and all analytical knowledge. I have taught this deep perfection of wisdom as the inexhaustible storehouse of the true Dharma of the past, future, and present Buddhas and Lords. Therefore, then, Ananda, I solemnly declare to you, I make known to you, that one who will take up this deep perfection of wisdom, bear it in mind, recite and study it, he will bear in mind the enlightenment of the past, future, and present Buddhas and Lords. I have taught this perfection of wisdom as a dharanis. When you bear in mind those dharanis of the perfection of wisdom, you bear all dharmas in mind. End chapter 60.